Can we talk about my top 100 list right quick?
Yeah. I think I still got it here. I know you sent me an update. I didn't put the update on there,
No, it's cool.
but
Well, look,
we'll
you don't
still
have to put
do.
it up, but we can just talk about it. I mean, people can go up. I mean, and then like, where is it? It's somewhere.
I got it right here. Top 100 list. This is the list that Coop put together. There were some criticisms of your list. What did you
Well,
want to address on the list first before we get to that?
well, let me address something.
Mm-hmm.
I did it in under 24 hours, so I need people to relax. They had the whole panel of people that they probably like sat down. Like, you get what I'm saying? Already
Yeah.
had time to come up with their list, come to the table together, and then go through a discourse. This was literally a riff. I told you I named 78 albums off the top of my head before I even paused and like came up for air. And so what I'm going to say is that I would like a little bit more time.
Oh yeah, and we're putting it together too, because
Right.
did you see the bracket that I put up there? I was trying to figure out how we need to do this properly. I should have
Hold
put the
on.
bracket in the chat, but go
Kind
ahead.
of, well, hold on. I believe our behind the stage or behind the scenes talk, we just agreed to meet again next week. We're going to take a photo of it this time for people, so people that know that we actually like do live in the same city,
Yeah, we
and
actually
that
know
that's
each
really
other.
happening, and we actually know each other. That's actually happening, and I would say let's do 250 albums, because one thing that I found
Hmm.
that I realized is that to do this comprehensively and properly, do need a little bit more time. So
Hmm.
I would say let's give us about a month at least to like really. I mean, really, no, I need 2 weeks.
Well, I mean, I think that the month process, and I'll do this on my end. We could just continuously put polls up, right? Because we put a poll up with some of the albums that were on your back end, because I know you had Wu Tang Forever at 100, and I think War Report was at 99. So I put that up in the community,
Love the war
and
report.
so people picked Wu Tang Forever 78% over the War Report 22%. Shout out to JD Diesel. He says, "No dog food, or did I miss it?" Um,
No dog food. I'll say this: dog food is one of those albums that I would probably consider for the top 100 that I didn't like necessarily like think of offhand. But that doesn't necessarily mean that I think it's top 100. But I definitely say it would be in the top 125. Like, definitely. I mean, I don't think people understand. It's like this is a lot of great stuff like to go through. Like,
well, this is what I want to go through. I want to
somebody
go
said
through
I
some of
didn't
the
have Me Against
polls.
the World on here. I thought I had Me Against the World on here. Am I
It
tripping?
should be on there.
Machiavelli. Yeah, Me Against the World is on here. I'm not tripping. Machiavelli's on here too.
Okay,
People are tripping.
so these are the polls I put up, and here are the results. Right, got Lost Tapes over the Carter 3, 73% to 27%.
Mm-hmm.
Got Breaking Adams over Word Life, 72% to 28%.
I
Mind
like.
you, in that Lost Tapes poll, excuse me, it was 940 votes. And in the Breaking Adams and Word Life poll, it was 368 votes. So I think that gives us a really good barometer of where people are at with that. Um, and the other one, we got Into the Stage over Uptown Saturday Night, 58% to 42%. That's
I would call that.
375 votes. And Wu
I
Tang
think Into
Forever
the Stage
over
is.
the War Report, 78% to 22%, 506 votes.
That's the first thing I want to address. I think Into the Stage was actually the album where that E is for that East 1999.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's the album that I missed that I definitely had in there that I was bugging about last episode that I thought that I put in, because I put East 1999 in twice, which I still do think is a top 100 rap album.
Well, what I'm thinking, all right, what I'm thinking that we can
Tell
do,
me what you're thinking.
what I'm thinking that we can do is we can put together these polls and these lists, right? And just kind of have different albums going up against each other to the point where, and we'll do it in an organized fashion, where we can kind of pull together, like seeing where a certain album is rated. Like, let's just say in this situation, War Report lost horribly to Wu Tang Forever. And then you got, I guess let's just say Uptown Saturday Night. Maybe we need to see where people feel about War Report versus Uptown Saturday Night.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? And just kind of finding those medians. Like, Lost Tapes beat the Carter 3 73% to 27%. So at this point, we know the Carter 3 can't go up against Lost Tapes. We need to have it go against something else, and we need to have Lost Tapes go against something else too. And maybe we can kind of find where certain things register. Now, granted, it's going to take time, but it's going to come out more accurate. I'm just saying.
That depends on who's there for the day. That's still aggregated data, but I get you though.
I think that yeah, even though it depends, but we talking about 500 something people voting. I mean, it's one of those things where even if a couple people missed out on voting, it's probably gonna turn out similar ways. You know what I mean?
No. I dig. But yeah,
Lil
give
Twan
us.
says no recession or Thug Motivation 101.
No,
Jason says, and you're the Jeezy fan here. Jason says, "What up, fellas? Peace and
I
blessings.
am.
Currency hit us with another one. Spring cleaning. Yes, spring cleaning too. We probably gonna talk about it Wednesday because we want to really give it a real ear. But go
I
ahead,
am.
Coop.
I am a Jeezy fan, and I've always said, give me that Trapper Die 2, and then that Trapper Die 1, and then we'll get into his album catalog. And I also said, I don't do mixtapes or compilations and soundtracks for my top whatever list when I do that, because that's separate, you know?
Mm-hmm.
That's not really fair overall to like kind of throw those in. It's like, do I love sound bombing more than I love some of these albums that I put in the top 100? Probably. Is it
Sound bomb is
fair?
not fair to include.
Right. That's what I mean. Sound bomb is not fair to include. And then you have to start getting funny about stuff where you lose stuff. It's like both you and I feel like Benzo or Beamer is a top 3 to 5 Outcast songs. Does that make
Yeah.
New Jersey Drive? Do we supposed to put New Jersey Drive in the top 250 because it's got Benzo or Beamer and Can't You See on there by total?
This is the way I look at compilations.
With Biggie's verse?
Compilations are like all-star games. They're supposed to be great. Like it's
When they're
like
not great
all-star
is the
teams.
problem.
It's like compilations like putting together an all-star team, literally, and having them go up against regular teams.
Like, what do I do with the firm? I'm still trying to figure that out. What is that?
Doesn't really matter what it is.
I don't know what that is. That's not a group.
I mean, it's a super group, but it's not super output. I think that you know what? I
I'm talking
think
about the album. I'm talking
I'll
about
say
ranking in place
no,
on the
no. I
album.
hear you. What I was gonna say? I think that we might need to do a separate album list for compilations, soundtracks, and super groups. It's enough of those in the culture for those to stand alone.
I know.
The Watch
You
the
might
Thrones of the world,
right.
the Distant Relatives of the world, the Firm,
Mm-hmm.
Best of Both Worlds,
Mm-hmm.
Unfinished Business, stuff like that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Let me get to your
Well,
list though. What were some
we're
of your
gonna have
comments?
what about my list or about?
Well,
No,
I was gonna read some of the things that people said, and maybe you can respond to it.
yeah. No. I want
Andrew
to hear
Smith
it too.
says this list is trash too. No dog food, strictly business. Akumina is actually trash. You know what? I'm done with that. I was done with that comment. Let me go to another one. It's like Coop, cool list. But this list was worse than Rolling Stone. This is the truest, by the way.
Of
Because
course.
Rolling Stone didn't pretend to even know hip hop. Coop should have known better. Rolling Stone, not so much. But any top 100 without 4 Lupe albums, Adrenaline Rush, Picture This, and Head to Tails is no top 100. Plus, Illmatic isn't even in the top 200, let alone number one. Oh, gosh. But let me go to his list, because some of the stuff in here is pretty good. He got number one. Oh, no. Never mind. He didn't get anything that you didn't get. I want to get to some people that got to some things that you didn't get a chance to get to.
That's what I want to hear, so we can because like I said, it was kind of a 1 day riff. But
Okay, so what do y'all see
I knew in
missing?
1 day I could do a top 100 that was better than theirs, though. Like just like without trying too hard.
No, I think you did great. J Dub says, great pod Wednesday, but I have to rebuke the RZA slander. LOL. Not
Are we
fair to
back with this about
compare.
the whole RZA thing?
Yeah, we got to
Let the
talk
RZA
about this
thing
RZA
go.
thing. Not fair to compare to Dre or Ye. If RZA operated like those four, Fourth Disciple and True Master Beats would have been produced by RZA too. RZA is the top 3 candidate. It's
Hey,
about damn time says, what's up, goats? Finally, Machiavelli is on somebody's list. Yes, sir, of course. Jay Short says the minstrel show over the listening. Question mark. Yes. Okay.
So, where do you want me to start with all of that? What,
Let's
that
start
was
with
a
the
lot.
RZA thing. We'll kind of go back and forth with the list and whatnot. Of course, Brian says there's no Eminem albums that's problematic. We can get to that too. But go to
So,
your RZA thing.
okay, so did I mishear the end of Reunited where he separated himself from Wu Tang Clan and said Wu Tang Clan and RZA? Did that not happen? Did my ears imagine that? Let's just go ahead and clarify like everything that I said. Did did that happen? Yeah, that happened. So that's not slander. Is that ego? Well, hell yeah, that's ego. Okay. Did he not say on the start of this too? I told Shorty she don't need to even go to school. All she needs to do is get the Wu Tang double disc. It's all the education she needs. Is that not arrogant? All right. Are beat wise are his greatest collections of beats not on Into the Wu Tang, only built for Cuban links, Liquid Swords, and Iron Man in particular. And is the beat quality up to the same level after that? Tell me where the slander is. Did he really steal from these motherfuckers? Well, yeah, he did. I didn't say one thing slanderous. I said the truth. Deal with the truth.
007 the super chat says y'all should do a top mixtapes list. Where does Jay Z's Backstage and Nas's Nigga Tape rank?
Backstage got in the club.
Whew, that's a hard record. I'm gonna talk about that. There was some heat on these, and the Dipset and the Locks had some joints too. Listen, that Beanie Siegel in the club.
In the club? Hoo-hoo! I'm back at the club with the snub, twisting up dubs, sipping on Chris, about to smack your.
Yo, that's one of the hardest
That's one
Timberland
of the best
hip hop
Timberland beats.
beats of that era.
That's my favorite Timberland hip hop beat, like on some rap shit. Like
That
it's
shit
on some
was
rap shit.
hard, man. And you know what? Siegel showed us that he could do everything. There was nothing in that period.
There was a video to that too, Mike. They
It
should have
was.
pushed that.
They didn't push that shit at all. You know what
It
got
was
pushed
epic.
from the Backstage? The Maya Best
Best
to
of
Me
Me,
remix.
the Best of Me remix, of course, which is literally the track. Guess what? After In the Club on Backstage.
They're
Yeah, it is.
asking did the documentary A Doctor's Advocate make it? That could be problematic.
Is it though?
I think it is. I think that the Doctor's Advocate and the documentary deserve some sort of consideration. But again, I think that we need.
No. I'm asking. No. I wasn't being sarcastic. I was really asking because it's like we're gonna have to take time and like formalize the list properly.
Definitely.
It's like literally did it in a day. There's a lot of stuff to go through, and I mean, I felt most bad about missing Run DMC.
Mm-hmm.
So I felt more bad about missing Run DMC than I did anything else, just truthfully, because Raising Hell should be on here just because of the impact.
I see, I'm going through a chat right now. It says The Sun Rises in the East, The Shining, Mecca and the Soul Brother. Into the Stage, you ended up putting that on there. Oh, my phone's out. I thought I was getting a message. All right. When Disaster Strikes, 93 to Infinity, 6 Feet Deep, Black on Both Sides, Country Grammar, Naughty by Nature, Eternal Affairs, Sitting on Chrome, Heavy Metal.
Country Grammar is interesting.
Country Grammar is interesting. You know what, man? I've said it here on this show before. And, I'll say it again. I think you disagree with me. You might have went with LL, but I think personally, Nelly is the best pure hit maker hip hop's ever seen. He doesn't need a superstar collaboration to do so. He doesn't need a superstar producer to do so. Nelly can take whatever and make. I mean, really, he can make one of the biggest. He's proven he can make some of the biggest hits in all of music out of nothing. Nobody ever heard of J.E. Nobody ever heard of anybody from St. Louis. He comes to hit you with Country Grammar. He proved on a crossover level that this singy rap thing could work on a high level. Now, granted, I know there were people who did it to some degree before him, but on a high level, we're going to hear songs like Ride With Me forever. Like, we're literally going to hear songs like Back That Thing Up and Ride With Me for the rest of our lives.
It's Uncle L, and you say New York City.
Where's your evidence on that? And I love L. L's the first superstar in hip hop, and I just wanna go back and forth with it.
I think he just has so many stuff that plays in so many different genres and waves
What
and
songs are
time
you talking
periods.
about specifically?
I mean, Jingling Baby
Molly
comes to
Mall,
mind. Huh?
Molly Mall.
What's wrong with having? What's
I'm just saying, like it's different with Nelly because he doesn't need that kind of help. And I'm not knocking the help. I'm just saying, like,
it kind of sounds like you are.
I'm not knocking the help. I'm just giving more credence to a person who did it without possibly, especially at the time, the greatest hip hop producer around.
No, that's fair. Marley was the man.
Yeah.
That's fair.
I mean, you go from Rick to Marley. Yeah. I mean, I'm
You want
just
to know
saying.
what? No. I'm not going to stand on that so firm. I'm going to go find you some evidence.
Okay. All right.
I'm going to go find you some evidence. Yeah.
Kenneth Palmer says, great list, but no Pete Rock and CL Smooth. Naughty by Nature. No DLC. De La Soul is dead.
No one can do it better is on here. Is that number 84?
Let me go to your
That's
list.
the DLC.
De La Soul is dead is at 72.
Yeah.
You already said that, Pete Rock and CL Smooth deserve to be on there. And I know you put together this list fast, and like we said, we're going to do some modifications, and we're going to get to the people and all of that. But in my personal opinion, I think that Main Ingredient's the best Pete Rock and CL Smooth album. Now, obviously, Back in the Soul Brother has possibly one of the best hip-hop songs ever made on it in Trouble T. Roy. But I think as an album, I listen to Main Ingredient all the time. Beautiful.
Well, these are the things that we need time to like go back over and unpack.
Mm-hmm. But I was gonna ask you though, Naughty by Nature, and I know we were just talking about how underrated Tretch is, and how they made some of the biggest hardcore hits of its era. What do you think about them as album makers?
I didn't love them as album makers. And so I think that's one of the things that's kind of like going on with Tretch's like legacy is that, well, what do you remember off Naughty's albums?
No,
outside
right.
of the
singles were so big, and I don't know if it was one of those things where the singles were so massive that they dwarfed the rest of the album. But I mean, and maybe some people in the chat can help us out, but what are some great Naughty B-sides and songs that never got released? That were just album songs that are cult classics in that way.
You know what I kind of make it comparable to? This is what we saw with Ja Rule in his prime.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, what's your favorite Ja Rule album?
Vita Vita Vici is probably mine.
But it's the only real rap album he made, though, too. You know what I mean?
And you know what? And I'm going to say this about Nelly, too, because they mentioned Country Grammar. And I don't know if it's because those songs like Ride With Me, E.I., and Country Grammar are so big, but you listen to that album, oh, you know what the singles are. Because the rest of that shit on there is not anywhere near those songs. And I think that's a similar thing to what Naughty has on their level. You know what I mean? Where it's like, you listen to Naughty's albums, oh, you know where the singles are.
Yeah.
You know,
but that's not always a good thing.
That's what I'm saying. It's not a good thing. Because it's like, really, especially in the album era, where I used to buy albums so I could listen to the whole thing. It wasn't a streaming era, so if you have albums like that, I'm probably not going to buy your album. I might buy the single. Ohio K says, can we get y'all's list from 101 to 200? So Busta, Beanie, Game, and Jada, to name a few, can get some love. We're going to do that. What's Jada's best album?
I think it's still Kiss the Game Goodbye. It's the first album still, because the first album has has Show Discipline with Nas.
Mm-hmm.
It has We Gon' Make It on it.
Mm-hmm.
It has Knock Yourself Out. It has Put Your Hands Up. It has Uh-huh with DMX.
Yep.
It has Feel Me. What else is
What's
on
the
there?
premiere record with the Locks? Ain't none of y'all better than Kiss. Ain't none of y'all better. That shit is crazy. That's one of my favorite premiere tracks. Yeah.
Is that on there?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That shit's crazy.
Oh, yeah.
That shit is crazy.
Yeah, that's the best one. I mean,
Yeah.
listen to the songs I just named.
Yeah.
I mean, if he was, yeah.
And even then, it's funny, back then, that was kind of like underwhelming because people had such high expectations for Jada going solo. That's how high the expectations were. His best album, 20 years in, 22 plus years in,
Yeah.
was underwhelming when it was released.
You
Jay
want to
Short
know
with the
what?
super chat says, remember a few weeks ago, people were talking about nostalgic bias. Now's the time to show up and argue for the new school to be on the list. Good luck. It's true. I mean, it's tough, man. These are some tough records. Derek Matthews says, Mike, if you're going to be real about Pharrell, he hasn't been consistent or effective for about a decade because the heart and soul was always Chad. I'm going to be real. We're going to talk about these new songs that came out today. 007 in the super chat says, LL equals versatility with destroying your speakers, jingling baby, rock the bells, lounging, love you better. 4321. Mama said knock you out. Head sprung. Doing it. Shall I continue? You know I show up for Queens. Yeah. The king of Queens is definitely LL Cool J when it comes to that. I mean, LL
Mike
is
is speaking. Mike is speaking to the producer being involved when he's talking about the quality of the hit maker and the artist, though. So when I'm bringing up "Jingling Baby" or "Mama Said Knock You Out," he's saying, "Well, Marley Marl is considered to be the greatest producer of all time, hip
This is
hop
my
wise, when
thing.
this stuff is being made." So
This is my thing. I feel like you put Nelly in a room by himself with whatever, he could bring out a hit. Whereas LL, you gotta get some comparable people.
hey, Mike, you
LL's
want to know what I want to do
he's
right
one of the
quick?
best hit makers, period. But I say pure, and I'm using that as the term that I'm running with. Pure meaning Nelly can pretty much make a hit out of anything with anybody. When he did Dilemma,
Did
he
you
went
say?
out and got Kelly Rowland when Beyonce was the popping member of Destiny's Child, and made one of the biggest songs of his era. Like, Nelly can do those things.
Mike, did you say best or did you say pure?
I said best pure. I said both.
Okay.
I said,
So he may not be the best hit maker, but he might be the most pure hit maker. The best hit maker is LL. Nelly might be the most pure hit maker, but he's not a better hit maker than L. You don't have enough evidence when you say that.
If we were
I
going
like
in
how
a
you put
versus,
that together real slick, like Mike. That was slick.
If we're going in a versus, I would never pick Nelly over LL Cool J.
That's what I'm saying.
Song
So it's
for
very
song.
problematic
I couldn't
how
do
you
that.
just did that.
In the new jam says, shout out from South Africa. I don't see Keith Murray's Enigma. Shout out to South Africa. Yes, Enigma is a dope album. And shout out to my homeboy Damaris, man. It's his birthday, man. He was a big Enigma and Keith Murray fan. I remember we was in college. That was all he was bumping.
I don't know if Enigma's going to make top 250, Mike.
OGTK Cole says, remember Nelly didn't write those hits. Cardan Mace Boy did.
We don't have time for that. Oh, you want to know
Shout
what?
out to OGTK Cole. We want to have you on the show. We want to have you on the show because I want to talk about these Eminem battle raps that we don't have footage of.
Harlem World needs to go in the 100 to 200. Hold on. So listen to what I want to say, Mike. Do you mind if I read down the list again? Because I want to tell you what's happened. And I haven't even been through all the comments yet. But just from the list that I started making earlier today, when I went through about 3 comments, and since we've been doing the show, I got about 30 albums that people are saying should be in the top 100. That's you saying I should take a third of my list out. So I want to hear the albums. I'm gonna read them out. I want to hear people tell me which albums that they hear that are not top 100 albums. You feel me? Because here's the problem: Illmatic.
Mm-hmm.
It takes a nation of millions to hold us back.
Right.
Only built for Cuban links. Aquemini, Doggy Style, Paid in Full, Life After Death, Enter the Wu-Tang 36 Chambers.
Hold on, I'm going to stop you when I get to one that I'm questioning, okay?
Okay.
Go ahead.
Yeah, you do it too, The Chronic. We got to audit each other in this process, right?
Mm-hmm.
The Low End Theory, The Infamous, Ready to Die, Supreme Clientele, Liquid Swords, The Greatest Adventures of Slick Rick, Death Certificate, It's Dark and Hell is Hot, Criminal Minded, All Eyes on Me, 3 Feet High and Rising, Reasonable Doubt, Midnight Marauders, The Diary, Soul Food, B, Muddy Waters, Moment of Truth, It Was Written, Me Against the World, America's Most Wanted, The Chronic 2001, Good Kid, Mad City, My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy, Get Rich or Die Trying, The Blueprint, Southern Playalistic Cadillac Music, Follow the Leader, AT Aliens, When Things Fall Apart, Stakes is High, Machiavelli, The 7-Day Theory, Iron Man, The Score, Stillmatic, To Pimp a Butterfly, The Fix, Like Water for Chocolate, Riding Dirty, The College Dropout, Fear of a Black Planet, Quick is the Name, Pray for Paris, By All Means Necessary, Wanted Dead or Alive by Cool G Rap and DJ Polo, Don't or Die, The Black Album, Illadelph Half-Life, 400 Degrees, The Carter 2, Stankonia, Daytona, Radio, 2014 Forest Hills Drive, Trap Music, Victory Lap, Balloon Mind State, Hardcore, People's Instinctive Travels, Alfredo, Hell on Earth, No Way Out, De La Soul is Dead, Late Registration, Damn, Long Live the Cane, The Minstrel Show, East 1999, Murder Music, Return of the Boom Back, Coming Out Hard, Mr. Don't Play, Niggas for Life, One for All, No One Can Do It Better, We Can't Be Stopped, King, The Lost Tapes, The Carter 3, God Forgives But I Don't, Mad Villainy, Word Life, Breaking Atoms, Mr. Scarface is Back, Life Story, Uptown Saturday Night, If You're Reading This Is Too Late, Hard to Earn, Nocturnal, The War Report, Wu-Tang Forever. Y'all think I got 30 albums that don't belong?
Yeah, that's why we got to take it to polls because, everything that was on there seemed pretty legit. I mean, I think there was maybe 5 or so that you could debate
Like,
with
I'm going to tell you the albums that I heard that it's like, okay, Quick is the Name. That might be more of a West Coast classic to people than an overall classic. I love some Quick is the Name.
Mm-hmm.
2014 Forest Hills Drive. Balloon Mind State.
No.
See, I already know how you feel about Balloon Mind State. You like Balloon Mind State. See, and I was just being objective about this. I put Balloon Mind State ahead of De La Soul is Dead. I like De La Soul is Dead more.
De La Soul is Dead is the best album they ever made, and it's an incredible album. I think Balloon Mind State could possibly be number 2, though.
See, you're not a fan of 3 Feet High and Rising like I am.
I love 3 Feet High and Rising, but I think they just got better. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like 3 Feet High and Rising is very people's instinctive when it comes to, De La, except for it just wasn't such a drastic change. They just continued to improve their model.
They're not as trippy. They're more relatable on 3 Feet High and Rising. I think that's the best way I can see. Huh?
You think so?
Yes, then they are on Balloon Mind State, yes.
Balloon Mind State is just beautiful, man. The people spoke. People didn't love it per se, and that's why that was the last album that Prince Paul made with him. So
I don't love it the way that you love it. That's not to say that I don't love it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If you want to say the Carter 3, God Forgives and I Don't, Word Life, maybe Life Story,
too late, maybe
Nocturnal. I can see some stuff, but I don't see 30, not 30.
Brian says, I'm originally from the boot. How y'all feel about these albums? How you feel about these albums? Juvenile, 400 Degrees, that's on there, and Lil Boosie Badass. Boosie a legend down there, man.
He is.
I don't think it's top 100 in my opinion. And see, I guess this is the thing too. I guess we don't include mixtapes. That's a whole nother bracket, right? Jay Short says Apocalypse 91 gotta be on there. Several classics. It's a dope album. Public Enemy went crazy on there. Brother's Gonna Work It Out. Can't Trust It. Shut 'Em Down. I like the original version of Shut 'Em Down more than the Pete Rock version, and I'm a Pete Rock guy. Bizarre Ride from the Far Side too. That's one of the comments that I saw in there was the fact that the hieroglyphic era wasn't really getting much love, and
you want to know
that
what?
side of Cali.
Bizarre Ride from the Far Side and Lab Cat in California. I don't think they're top 100 albums, but I think they are like 100 to 150, both of them.
I love Lab Cabin.
Huh?
I love Lab Cabin.
Yeah. I'm going in my notes right now, and I'm just putting Far Side and Two down because I think both of their albums were pretty dope. Like that,
Uh,
like to be in the next one. I don't think that they're in the next set. You remember Casual with Fear Itself? What did you think about Fear Itself by Casual?
I'm not familiar with it.
You need to listen to Casual's Fear Itself. I was
Yeah,
thinking about Casual's Fear Itself was really like a moniker. Casual was really like a trendsetter for them and that hieroglyphic crew.
I'm
I
gonna go
was thinking
listen.
about what's Dell's album?
My brother George.
My brother George and the other one. He had two. Uh,
OGTK Cole says America's Most Wanted is too low. It should be higher than 30. And I love De La Soul is Dead as well.
yeah,
Higher,
Casual.
when you say higher, you mean rank closer to number one? Or 007 says Volume 2 over if you're reading this is too late.
Okay. I
Ohio
was
K
leaning more
says,
towards Volume One, but Volume Two as well.
how do y'all feel about Big L Lifestyles of the Poor and Dangerous? It
I like.
sounds about 100 worthy to me.
Um, that was one of the ones I may have missed. I'm a big fan of that album.
I know
I
you
actually
are.
got to meet Big
Yeah.
L. Yeah.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's an interesting discussion when you talk about Volume 2 and if you're reading this, it's too late. I mean, if you play both of them side by side, I feel like if you're reading this, it's too late, even though we got Quentin Miller as a ghostwriter on that album and all of the controversy that came with that, Drake
Right.
sounds more like he's in his individual zone where Jay probably made the better album track for track, but it's so collaborative heavy where it's like I don't even know if Jay gave us an identity on Volume 2. And I think that's the only real issue with Volume 2 when it comes to its longevity and us talking about Volume 2 as far as like one of the greatest cuz he doesn't even really list Volume 2 as one of his greatest like that either. I think that's the one whenever he talks about his albums, he kind of treats as it's expendable because I think that the way it aged in relation to the rest of them is different because it was so collaborative heavy.
hmm And it's hard to
Um,
perform tracks with people that you don't have. You get what I'm saying?
and a lot of those people, respectfully, kind of fell off the face of the earth and weren't really around in that next era. So it kind of made those songs even more dated in that way.
Like, think about it. When are you gonna hear Reservoir Dogs live? Ever?
Yeah, I
Ever?
mean,
Never hear
I
Reservoir
mean, do
Dogs
we
live?
even want to see in 2022 Jay-Z hits the stage? Do you want to see him perform Can I Get a What What?
Not really.
No, you don't. Do we want to hear Jay perform Jigga What Jigga Who in 2022? Those aren't the songs that stood the test of time as he has. Nas the Goat says Coop, Black on Both Sides is better than Alfredo. I disagree with that. And I
I miss
love most
Black
stuff.
I miss Black on Both Sides, but it's not better than Alfredo in my opinion. But I did miss it.
I love most stuff. And I always thought that Black on Both Sides is a nice album and it has some really great songs here and there. I think he's spazzing on Brooklyn and all of that, but I don't feel like most totally reached his potential from end to end on that album. Even when I listen to some of his high moments on the Static, like Top Priority and shit like that, that's most Def to me. You know what I'm saying? Like he has such a high ceiling that it would take a end to end classic for him to reach his potential. And as good as Black on Both Sides is, I just don't feel like he reached his full potential on every track. And I know that might sound like I'm being too hard on him, but damn, you made Miss Fat Booty on there. That's on there. That's on there. Brooklyn's on there. Umi Says is on there. And so is what's the song with Kweli? Know That. These are high levels. So it's like when you make Mr. Nigga, which is dope, and mathematics is crazy, but it's like you got to keep that intensity the whole album. I don't know. Maybe I'm being too hard on most.
We've got 37 more albums just in this time that we've been doing this show. Outside of the 100 that I've done, 37 more.
Well, when we put Black on Both Sides in these polls, I'm interested to see how well Black on Both Sides and the Black Star album are gonna do.
No, like I would take
Because in
I
my
would take
personal
Black on
opinion,
both. No, I'll take Black on Both Sides over like Word Life or God
Hmm.
Forgives, but I don't. No, no, no.
I'm with
I can
that.
see that. Yeah, I'm with that.
This was what was that? 1999 or was it? It was 1999.
99.
I remember like Water
But
for
then people,
Chocolate came out.
but you see how when I try to put modern stuff in there, what people do?
Yeah, I know. That's why we need a polling system.
Right.
Um, 007 with the super chat says Jay didn't give an identity, but he gave us his official arrival, his announcement of, "Hey, I'm here, and none of y'all can do nothing." Just saying. That was his whole, claim to the throne per se, Volume 2. And it's interesting that he did it in a collaborative way, and he did it in a way where it was like, I'm going to show versatility in ways that at the time a lot of New York MCs weren't able to do on a high level. All that stuff we talk about Biggie and his versatility and what he
Mm-hmm.
left to the game, I think that's what Jay was attempting to do on Volume 2, and he accomplished it, but he accomplished it through collaborations as opposed to doing it, as a single soloist,
No,
for lack of a better term. He doubled down on the Notorious Thugs thing.
I'm about to say Big was collaborative, but what Big did that Jay didn't do on Volume 2 is the ownership of the songs, even on the collaboration, feels like it's Big. Like when you're hearing the beat The Last Days and you're hearing the Locks rap over the beat, and then Big comes in over the beat, you're like, oh, no, 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 Havoc made that beat for Big. You
Well, I
feel me?
think that the quintessential moment in that and what you're talking about is More Money, More Problems. And
Yeah.
as they say, like, clearly that was Puff and Mace's vibe, or what ended up being Mace's vibe. But once Biggie came in there, it was no question whose song that was.
It's mine. It's mine. Right.
Yeah.
That's what I'm talking about. That ownership. Even when he's on Jay on I Love the Dough, that's more of a beat that's suited for Jay.
Yeah, it is. No, it's the Angela Winbush shit. I've said this before. Jay-Z sounds incredible over Angela Winbush samples. And you're right.
Yes.
That was tailored for him.
It was tailored for him. And that's the only reason, listen, and
They
that's the
probably
only reason
brought
that
the
I
record
consider
in.
that to be a draw. It's like, oh, well, he got set up for success. That's what he does well.
They had
Big is
Angela
like, you want to
Winbush
know,
on the
I'm going to let
record.
him, because this is what I mean. Big's the type of dude that's almost like I felt like he picked that track because he knew Jay would shine on it, and he was fucking with Jay like that.
And he had Angela Winbush on the actual record.
He had Angela Winbush on the actual record.
Right. Like, yo,
It
you
says
you do
featuring
well
Angela
on her
Winbush.
shit?
It's
Yeah,
not
cause
like on some sample shit.
yeah. Um 93 Till Infinity is one of the best group albums ever. Top 100 easy. Also Blowout Cone. They had Blowout Cone pretty high on that Rolling Stone list too. Jay Short with the super chat says, "Y'all got to do a Diggable Planets and Gangstar in the next 100, unless I missed it. Daily Operation, Moment of Truth, Reaching. Moment of Truth is brilliant.
Moment of Truth is 27 on our list.
Very, very great album.
Can I say something? I listened to Moment of Truth today. Moment of Truth is personally like one of my favorite rap albums ever. You know, My Steez is one of the just best, pure, unadulterated hip hop songs I've ever heard. Like, I love You Know My Steez. That's like the best start off to a rap album, in my opinion. Like, that shit gets me going. Just like when you hear Guru talk and the way that beat drops and the meth sample, and it's what rap sounds like in the spring and summertime to me.
I
Like,
was just about to say, Royalty does that for me, and Royalty has like this winter, fall type feel. Shit's beautiful.
It's beautiful. They got Work on there.
Yeah.
Robin Hood Theory, Above the Clouds, Militia,
Above the
The
Clouds.
Trail, Make 'em Pay,
It's
Moment of
beautiful.
Truth, the song, man. It's JFK to LAX.
Yep. Jermaine Young with Super Chat says, although you might not want to hear those songs in 2022, those Jay songs were hits. So he's going to perform them. Also,
And
what number was written? Let me get to that real quick.
Hard to Earn was on the list too. Hard to Earn is like, hold on, where is
I
Hard
see
to Earn?
it was
know
written
Hard to
at
Earn is-
28.
Yeah, I know Hard to Earn is on here.
Well,
Hard
I
to
mean,
Earn
the
is at
thing is,
97.
yeah, they were hits in the moment, but he doesn't perform those records now. Like, what songs from outside of Hard Not Life itself? What songs from Volume 2 does Jay perform? But you know what? It's been a minute since Jay performed, period. I think that the songs that it seems like he goes back to a lot. Obviously, public service announcement. Um,
Stadium Flow.
yeah, yeah, definitely. You don't know. Speaking of stadium flow,
Stadium Flow.
um, I don't know, man. Jay's performances now. It's one of those things where the last time that he toured heavy, if I and correct me if I'm wrong, was when him and Beyonce did the On the Run two tour. I know my guy Ron went to that. I don't know exactly what Jay had in his set list. I could look it up, but thing is, man, when I see Jay-Z tickets and when I see them at a certain price point, I know that he's not going to perform the records that I like. So it's no use in me going. Does that make sense?
No.
Because anybody that's going to pay $300 for a Jay-Z ticket's probably not going to see him perform.
You're not going to get the
Heart of
records
the
that
city.
you want.
You know what I mean? Like,
yeah. Like, I'm about to say, he's not going to tell B to go to the back so he can do Friend or Foe in Streets is Watching for me. I don't think that's happening.
Right. And again, I want to hear at least Can't Knock the Hustle. But anybody that's paying $300 for a Jay-Z ticket, they want to hear Dirt Off Your Shoulders.
Can I Live? Is Can I Live? Is that
that's not happening. Much? No. You pay that kind of money for a Jay-Z ticket, you're getting Dirt Off Your Shoulders. You're getting Empire State of Mind. You're getting Run This Town. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're getting those records.
So sweet.
So, yeah, I mean, look. I think I caught Jay at the last real sweet spot, man, when I saw him, like, right before the Black album.
That's a good time.
So it's like, at that point, he had hits out, but he still was at a level where it's like, I'm going to perform some stuff for my core fans. And he performed everything. And he took you through a whole emotional ride for like 3 hours. And I'm like, yo, man, this dude's catalog is crazy. And that was back in like 2002. A-Train says, I don't think Zero gets enough credit he deserves. Zero's dope.
Zero from Houston?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Zero dope.
But yeah, man, so I don't even know what Jay puts on his set list now, but Volume 2 stuff, it's not there. I think Big Pimpin' probably is there. Maybe. I don't know. You might get Hard Not Life. Maybe. But everything else on Volume 2, I think it was for that time period. And you're not going to get a Can I Get Her? Just off of content and subject matter alone. You might get Big Pimpin' for nostalgic value or something, but yeah. But do you want to talk about some of this new music that came out today? Because I got some bold predictions, unless you want to talk about the list a little bit more.
No, I mean, as long as people are done switching half of the list.
No. What we're going to do is, man, we're going to get some polls going on just to see what things stand, because you guys surprise me all the time, like what the masses believe and, what we believe. So.
No, like another one I was thinking of is like, where does Flesh of My Flesh and Blood of My Blood go? Like DMX's second album, which I think is pretty dope too.
It's dope, man. But you know what? For me personally, and
it's not top 100. I'm just saying we're doing a list of 250 now. Where does something like that go? Because that belongs for sure.
Yeah, it does.
Blackout on there.
It's important too. You said what? What a Black Album?
Got Blackout on there. Blackout's one of the best posse cuts ever.
You know what? I'm gonna spend some time this weekend and go listen to Flesh of My Flesh. I ain't listened to it in a minute.
Oh man, like coming from where I'm from with Mary J. Blige. The Dogs for Life used to be my dog. You was in my left titty. Ain't no way you're gonna stop my flow. Ain't no love for me. Slippin's on there. The Omen's on there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. No,
shout out to Marquez Davis.
You don't like Swiss's beats, Mike, but yeah.
Yeah, I think that was my thing.
Mike, X on there though.
Yeah,
X
you're right.
The writing.
He's better. I don't want to say better.
He's better. He's a better writer. He's not a better MC because it's hard to recapture some of that passion when it's like you're making $100,000 a week. But
yeah.